Hi,
Yes.
my name's Daphne.
Hi, my name's Jake. Hello.
We are collaborating on this design project together, and we're using Japanese paper which is a long-standing traditional cultural practice in Japan. And we are sort of testing the limits and boundaries of what you can do with paper and what you can do with that traditional practice, and then also what that means in the context of contemporary fashion and consumption as well. So we have sort of just started this practice together and have been exploring this through different projects. And we are going to talk to you today about this project via this kind of Zoom conversation, since we can't be in the same room. And actually, I haven't even seen the final product because I handed it over after I did part of it. And we did some of it together. And then I did some on my own and then handed it over to Jake, and he's finished it and I haven't even seen it. So I'm going to get to see it today, which is super exciting.
Gonna have a little go with us.
Yes, it looks so good. You can see that there's wrinkles, that the paper's kind of creased and wrinkled. I mean, of course, when we get the sheets of paper, they're these beautiful, flat, white, crisp sheets of handmade Japanese paper. But then we wet them and we add these starches and we actually scrunch them up to make them more flexible. And the more you wear it, the more flexible it will become. And if it gets a bit damaged, you can add more starch and it strengthens it again. So this paper was made in a place called Mino, which is in Gifu Prefecture in Japan. And actually it was a little bit too thin for this design. We wanted to make something that was durable and had the kind of this look of a really familiar kind of look that it would surprise you that it was made out of paper. And we wanted to test things like dyeing and welt pockets and ribbing and gathering and test some of these different sort of technical finishes. So do you want to talk about your honors project a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I was looking at fast fashion consumption and production cycles and how they seem to be getting faster and faster, and thinking about possibly if you were going to continue producing clothes in a really fast manner, how would you do that in a way that would affect the environment as little as possible?
Yeah.
And so that was the original, I guess, direction of my project. And so that led me to start using paper. And so the project sort of shifted a little bit from there. First, I was really intent on keeping the paper or keeping the garments very disposable and immediate. And then it sort of shifted to this into just another exploration of how do we explore slow fashion, but in a slightly different way. The whole process of paper making is incredibly slow from the textile itself.
So Jake he did some work in his honors last year when he graduated. That was in the studio. And then I've been doing research in the field with the paper makers and the paper clothing makers. And I'm also doing a project right now funded by the British Museum called the Endangered Material Knowledge Program, where people are sent to different parts of the world to document endangered material practices and to document the knowledge around those practices. And so you can have a look here for anyone who's watching this video. You can have a look at their website, emkp.org. And there is a blog post that I just recently wrote that gives sort of an update and an overview of how the research is going at the moment. But I think it's really important that alongside that sort of documentary style research, there's also the studio-based research, the documentation, and then, translation and dissemination of the things that I record becomes much richer when I'm able to actually experience them myself and test them, and then to be able to write about those and communicate those techniques is not necessarily more accurate, but it's a richer kind of outcome. So anyway, you can have a look here and see kind of who I was working with and see some of the beautiful pieces of Kamiko. That paper can be a really rich material for exploration for a lot of different, even contradictory reasons. So it can be something that's disposable and fast, super fast, hyper fast, hyper speed, disposability. Or in the case of Kamiko, which is this thing that we're working with now, it can actually be really durable and long lasting and repairable, and also long lasting in terms of how long it's been used and how it's been made, and its history as well. So it's this kind of contradictory, really strange, but also really familiar and ubiquitous material, which is what's so exciting about it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it was that contradiction that was kind of the most interesting thing to deal with. Yeah, it's a really beautiful way to explore a lot of the problems that we're dealing with in contemporary fashion right now.